4 years ago, I started a channel called TGN Anime, which many of you still remember. The third video I uploaded was the only 3 Attack on Titan games worthy of your attention. That was the first video that blew up in that channel and in many ways put me on the path that I'm on today. The channel grew, the channel got shut down, I started from scratch on this one, and now here I am still talking about anime games. About a month after that video, I released another one called The Best Attack on Titan Games Are All Fan-Made. And this is when I first played Roark's Attack on Titan fan game. At the time it was fairly simple. It was basically a time trial or a score attack game where you had to slash these training dummies as fast as possible. Since then the game grew quite a bit. They added multiplayer, multiple weapon choices, new systems, and a few weeks ago Roark finally released the 1.0 version, launching the game that he had been working so hard on for the past few years. Naturally, I had to check it out. I let the folks on my Discord know that I was going to be playing it. A lot of them decided to join and we kept playing until my stream time, at which point we just kept it going on Twitch on an open lobby. We basically played Roark's Attack on Titan fan game the entire day, to the point that I can confidently say again, the best Attack on Titan games are all fan-made. I always found it weird that Attack on Titan only had 2 big console games in total. For one of the biggest anime shows in the world, it sure hasn't seen a lot of games. There have been quite a few on the Nintendo DS, most of which never came to the West, but most people only remember the 2 console games developed by Omega Force. The Attack on Titan manga came out back in 2009 and really blew up with season 1 of the anime in 2013. That is 8 years ago, during which time we've seen 2 home console games. That's crazy if you think about how popular this show is. But it's perhaps because of that lack of games that fan-made games have garnered such an importance. There's a hunger for Attack on Titan games and we have fans delivering on that hype. Back in the day, I checked out Geddon's Attack on Titan and Fang's Attack on Titan games. And I should perhaps check them out again and see how they have evolved. If you have kept up with those games, let me know if it's worth checking them out again and what has changed. But today we're talking about Roark's Attack on Titan. Even back in the day, this was the one that I mostly gravitated towards because of its visual style. While Fangs was going for a Roblox look and Geddon was trying a bit too hard to be realistic, Roark embraced the cartoon look and in my opinion, really pulled it off. And once I started playing it, it immediately reminded me of one of my all-time favorite games, Spider-Man 2. This was considered by most to be the best Spider-Man game before Spider-Man PS4 came out, specifically because of the web swinging system. It was incredibly analog, you had so much control over your character, and it was physics-based. The webs would attach to actual buildings, and how long a web was would determine your swinging speed and angle, and that led you to bumping into a lot of walls early on. But as time went on, you would learn how to master it, and the amount of control that it would give you was just on a level that we wouldn't see again for a very long time. Roark's Attack on Titan does exactly the same thing with the ODM gear, and that's part of what makes it really special. Here's how the game is played. You have a jump button, and you can hold this button to boost yourself up. Once you're in the air, you can boost in any direction using fuel. You've got plenty of air control, even without the hooks. The hooks themselves are manually aimed. You can shoot the left hook with a left mouse button, and the right hook with a right mouse button, and they go exactly where you aim them. If there's nothing to hook to, they just won't come out. You can also hold down the shift key to split the hooks, and the game will automatically look for places to attach the hooks to nearby, giving you a comfortable angle to move forward. Once the hook is attached, you have a button to reel it in and another button to cut it some slack. So you have complete analog control, which means much like Spider-Man 2, you're gonna be bumping into a lot of walls when you first pick this up. Luckily, you can free roam as much as you want, either by yourself or with some friends, and just get comfortable and learn at your own pace. And once everyone in my lobby knew the controls, we jumped into a race. There are currently 3 race tracks which generate obstacles randomly, so every time it resets, you don't know what's gonna be ahead of you. The track keeps generating for as long as you go, there's no end to it, but you are eliminated as soon as you touch a wall or an obstacle. Last man standing wins a point. This is trial by fire, no matter which race you pick. There's flying cubes, there's a cave layout with really tight openings, and there's a constantly rotating stage that really tests your motion sickness. Basically, every time you start this game mode, you die. There's no sugarcoating it. This game mode is here to tell you that you suck, that you have no precision or control over your movement, and it will kill you every time you touch one of its walls or obstacles. And because of that, it's also a great training tool. Navigating this environment is much harder than navigating any of the other maps, so by playing these races on repeat, everyone was getting so much better without even noticing it. And when we finally left the races and returned to regular maps, we weren't struggling with movement anymore. Heck, we weren't even thinking about movement, it was just happening naturally. This incredibly complex and analog form of traversal that requires 6 different inputs plus the directions was now something that we were able to do naturally after only 15 minutes of dodging flying cubes. And that's something really special to take something as complex as this movement system and with as little practice as this being able to make it second nature. This makes players feel like geniuses and enables them to express themselves through movement in a way that the Omega Force games never did, because you don't have that type of control, that type of freedom. And even though players feel like geniuses mastering this movement system, the genius really lies in Roark. He's the one that created this, and for a movement system that gives you so much freedom and is so complex, to make it that easy to learn, that's not easy to pull off. So now we could focus on other things like killing our friends. And to do so, first you need to select one of 3 weapons. You've got the swords, the guns, and the thunder spears. With all of them, you have a button to toggle between weapon mode and movement mode. So with the sword, for instance, you would first hit F to ready your weapon, and then left mouse button to attack or right mouse button to throw the swords. And each weapon has their advantages and disadvantages. The swords allow you to be more mobile, you can throw them and reload them pretty fast even while moving, and if you can get in close, you don't have to be super precise with your aim to get a kill. With the guns, you want to sit at the mid-range, you need to have good aim, and they take a bit to reload, so obviously they're my least favorite weapon because my aim is garbage. And the thunder spears are basically rocket launchers, but you can also kill yourself with them, and they take a really long time to reload. With all the weapons, you have to be aware of how much ammo you have, as well as keep an eye on your fuel, which you definitely have a lot of fuel. This is not a game where you have to constantly stop to refuel, but running out of fuel means death. And Roark really understands and prioritizes balance. There are advantages and disadvantages to each one of these weapons, and a lot of the balance is struck by using a genius mechanic called the stress gauge. Most of the actions you do in this game increase your stress, which then depletes if you do nothing. And this isn't really meant to replicate the stress of fighting in Attack on Titan, but more so as a mechanic that prevents you from overusing the most busted moves or spamming in any way. For instance, missing an attack with your swords increases your stress gauge a lot, so you're encouraged to only go for an attack if you think you're gonna hit instead of spamming the attack button. Using the air boost also increases your stress gauge a lot. It's a fast move that can make you unpredictable, so if you do it too much, your stress gauge will fill up, and when it's maxed out, you can't do anything. You are vulnerable for a little while. And this is where most anime games would just give you these tools and say, hey, go for it. And then they would release a tweet saying, our game isn't meant to be competitive, it's casual fun. Yeah, because it's busted, because you didn't pay any attention to balance. And now players can just spam one move over and over and ruin everyone else's fun. And it's not that player's fault, it's your fault for allowing that to happen. Roark took balance a step further and thought how to prevent players from spamming, how to encourage them to think before they make any move, all while keeping it true to the Attack on Titan universe and giving players complete freedom of movement with that ODM gear. This system is absolutely genius. This is the kind of stuff I'd like to see from official Attack on Titan games. Well, this and a lot more, of course. This being a fan-made game, we obviously cut it a lot of slack. If Koei Tecmo put this game out, it's not like we'd all be happy about it. I assure you every comment would be, why does this look like a PlayStation 2 game? And also, hey, why are there no Titans? Besides, this game is built for mouse and keyboard. You need to make a lot of adjustments and assistance to translate this into a controller, which if you're developing a bigger official game, you kinda need to, otherwise you cannot sell this on consoles. But as a free game that you can just download and play, this is really awesome. Could it use a bit more visual flair? Sure. When I slash someone up with a sword, I'd like to feel that impact a bit more. It's kind of flat right now. And not every game mode is great. I love the free roaming, the races, the basic deathmatch, but capturing control points doesn't really fit the vibe of the show for me. And elimination can be really boring if you die early, because then you're just spectating forever. And hey, you don't have to play those game modes if you don't want to. In fact, as a multiplayer game, this is very straightforward, and that kind of works perfectly. It's easy to create or join lobbies, really easy to set up servers or find servers that your friends have set up, and you can easily browse for servers too and play randoms. I don't remember the last time that I played a fan-made game where I didn't need to join a Discord to matchmake or get instructions on how to play. And also, we ran an open lobby on stream and we had players from all over the world, no lag issues, which is so extremely rare in anime games, and Roark made it look easy. I hope I'm not overselling this too much. This is not the next game that you'll play for the rest of your life. There's a limited runtime here, even if they run tournaments on the Discord server. I don't know about its longevity, but this is definitely good enough that I will stay tuned for updates. I want to see what this guy does next, and I will echo my feelings from 4 years ago. I hope someone picks him up. I hope Omega Force or Koei Tecmo are looking at this and going, we need this guy on our team. Because goddamn, I had fun playing nothing but this game for a full day with my friends on Discord. And for the price of free, I'd say yeah, it's worth a shot. And hey, if you like it and you want to get better, the official Discord runs tournaments every once in a while, so why not? Link to the game in the description below, where you can also find a link to my Twitch, where we go through all these anime game shenanigans, but we do it live, where we can actually have a conversation. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!